All right, we are looking at creating a self-marking quiz for teachers. I'm not going to explain how to make a form using Google Docs. I'm going to assume you've done it already. Here's one I have. It's for computer science. Here's the question and their answers. And you get your kids to do this however they do it. Next, go into your Google Forms. And let's take a look. This is where the real work is going to take place. I filled out the quiz. As you can see, I called my name the key, and I've got my answers right here. So now what we're going to do is make it so that this quiz is self-marked. Okay, so now that we're squared away and ready to go, you can see I got the key here and my answers. So what we're going to do is we're going to check each answers first. So we're going to insert a column, and actually I've already done it, but you would insert a column to the left or right. In this case, I'd be to the right because I want my answers to be here. But I already have mine, so I'm just going to expand mine, I think. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so you've inserted a column right here. Next thing you want to do is you want to check the student's answer, which is going to appear right here, against your answer, which is right there, and that's the key. Okay. And by the way, you can do insert columns even though the form is still live. So my students have not taken this yet. It still works. So in here, we're going to create a formula. Hopefully you can see this. And we are going to say, I'm just going to move this over for you. We are going to say equals if, and now notice a little cheat comes up here. Hopefully you can see the cheat. But it's going to be the test, the true value, and the false value. If you like computer science, then this is no-brainer. If you don't know computer science, don't worry about it. So it's going to be the test. And I want to test to see if this value right here, so I'm just going to click on it. Notice the cell appears. If that is equal to this value right here. Now, because I want to, okay, sorry, now I'm just going to continue. If it's true, I'm just going to say right, in quotation marks, comma. Now, if it's false, so in this case, it's going to be wrong. And I'm going to close brackets. One other thing I'm going to do here is I want to be able to drag this down. Say I have 35 kids. I don't want to be changing, you know what, here I'll show you actually. So I'm just going to press enter, and there it is. So it's wrong because that is not equal to that. Spreadsheets have this beauty right here. If you mouse over the bottom right corner, it turns into those crosshairs, and you could drag it down, and it'll continue along. And notice it says right, right, right. That doesn't make any sense at all. But look what happens. It always checks D3 versus D4. So D3 versus D4. If you look at this one checks D10 and D11. D10 and D11. Well, we don't want to always check it to the one right above it. We want to check it always to this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all these. I was just trying to prove a point. So now, what do I want to check? I want to check D2. This is D2 against D3, but I don't ever want D2 to change when I drag it down. So I'm going to go back into the code here. I'm going to change D2. I'm going to put a $sign in front of each. And what that's going to do is make sure that D2 never changes. Click over here, press enter. Still wrong. Now, when I drag this down, let's say I have 15 kids right, so the last kid will be down here. So if I wanted to check it, I would just drag this down, and then they're all going to say wrong, 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 or whatever, however many students got it right, it might say right. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Excellent. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So again, I'm going to highlight this column, and I want to insert a column to the right. No, undo that. I want to insert it to column to the left. No, I want to insert it to the right. All right, that's better. And actually, I'm going to move this up so that's right here. Let's take a look. Is D2 equal to D3? No, it's probably best I leave it down, actually. So just ignore what I did there. So same deal here. I want to say equals if, open bracket, the test, so that's going to be this cell, is equal to this cell with $signs, because I never want this one to change. Oh, come on. Whoops. So if F3 is equal to, if that is true, then we want to say right. If it's wrong, I'm going to keep the same, make sure I use capitals like I did last time. and wrong, close brackets. So that looks good right too. I want to do the same thing over here. So I want to insert to the right. If I could just copy this. I'm going to try copying and pasting. And let's see, is H3 equal to F2? I just want to change that F to H. All right. This is F's. Let's look at this one. This one, I still haven't changed. It's got to be H. Just gonna put it over here. Press Enter. So I got wrong, wrong. I'm gonna slide my mouse over, and then the last one again, same deal. Insert to the right, and I'm gonna paste it in here. And then again, J3 equals F2. We want F, we want J. I put my mouse over there, press Enter. Okay, so now I got wrong, wrong, wrong. So now as the students fill it out, it should look good. Now the last thing I want to do is I want to count how many rights and how many wrongs they had. So in here, I'm going to have another formula. I'm going to say count, and we're going to use CountIf. So we're going to count if. So notice again the cheat says show the range and then the criteria. Well, I'm going to do the range first. So I'm going to move this over here. My range is going to be from here. And I'm just going to highlight all the places I want it to check. So I got all those highlighted, range, and then comma, criteria. And I want to count the right answers. So I'm going to count the word, it's going to look for the word right, close brackets. So that's going to be how many right answers they had. Now, if I want to give them a percent, there's going to be percent. And I had, how many questions did I have? Sorry. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I forgot one over here because this is the last question. So I got to move this over here. And in here, I have to do one more of those. If. So if this is equal to this, then true. So I want it to go right, in quotation marks, comma, wrong, in quotation marks, enter. No, I want to change my L2 to $. And I think that's it. Get rid of that. So L2, yeah. And now it's this. This is going to count the rights. And I've got 5 questions, so I'm going to turn this into a percent. So I'm going to say equals. I want to go the count divided by 5 times 100. And then there's my percent. And that is it. We want to test it out. Let's go ahead and do that. Give me a okay, we're back, and so now I'm going to test it out. I'm going to go to the live form. Go to live form. I'm going to type in my name. And I'm just going to go ahead and click some answers here and see if this works. So as your students fill out their quiz, they hit submit. And hey, isn't that great? And I'm going to go back to here. And there's my answers I just typed in. So let's see. Again, I just need to drag this down. And I need to drag this down. And I need to drag this down. And down here. And drag this down, and drag this down, and drag this down. Okay, so it looks like I got 1 right and 20%. So let's count the rates. Yeah, sure enough, I got 1 right. Let's double check. I love because it's cool. That's right. This is wrong, 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 wrong. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A self-marking quiz. And as your students go, again, this is really easy because we have 1 kid that wrote it. That'd be me. But as your students write it, if there's 60, 70 kids, you get to simply drag this thing. As many kids there are, you got your percents, your grades will all show up right here. Kids like it too because it's instant. All right. I hope you enjoyed. And that is